Hi everyone, I hope you're really well. Thank you for joining me on today's altcoin bubble. I'm going to check out three charts, one to watch, cherry ripe, and a danger zone. Mark's been doing a great deal of chop to try and shake everyone out. Looks like 108 has held, which is the short-term holder cost basis level, which we've been watching quite religiously. If it drops beneath that, we generally see a capitulation move, a bit of panic in the short term. So Bitcoin, doing its thing towards the middle of September. I've been pretty bearish biased leading into the possible rate cut, the uncertainty around that. We've also had in the last 48 hours the global bond market having an absolute fit. Right, now if we look at my cherry ripe today, if we just think about the flow of an order of effects, the flow on of effects of where the liquidity is going. So we've got Bitcoin running, Ethereum running. Why are they running? Well, liquidity drivers via the ETFs and speculation ETF buzz. October, according to Bloomberg, is when a lot of these ETFs move. It doesn't really matter if it's buy the rumor, sell the news. It's going to be energy, attention, and it's going to lead to higher prices, I think, sooner rather than later for something like Solana. And if we're looking at Sol here, as long as Bitcoin holds that 108 level and doesn't want to power drive lower, it's been showing a tremendous amount of strength versus Bitcoin and Ethereum as well. So I think we're probably seeing the rotation here. I'm looking at Ethereum looking a bit weak, and that's what I'll get into my danger zone in a sec. Solana looking really powerful. It's making higher high after higher high, higher low after higher low, and it's starting to flip some overhead levels. So the level for me to get quite aggressive with Sol is actually a flip of the 206 level. Now, to be really safe, you go to the weekly. And again, it's not foolproof, but a weekly close, so next Monday, weekly close above the 206, so this core overhead resistance, you can see my little alert there, bring up to 10 to 15%. Again, you should automate as much of this as possible if you're looking at short, medium, longer term investing or trading. Put alerts on your chart, have the percentages ready to go that you're going to rotate left and right, make it unemotional, be very strategic about what you're doing. Whereas if we go on over to Ethereum, this is actually my danger zone today. I know, and again, there are many options here, but because Ethereum has been sort of top of our mind and agenda for a while here, I've had some buy zones lower. Now, it'd be very interesting to see if the market holds up, Solana moves, but Ethereum drops. We just have to think though, eventually these big moves, they do cool off. They come back down into key support zones when they can't move higher anymore. And that's where I'm looking at Ethereum. I had this uptrend line drawn, so you can see bounce, 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 invalidated. So there, it's starting to break down. Now, it's perfectly fine if ETH wants to do, something like this, break up, reclaim, and then keep moving higher. That's it. And it really depends on the flows. We're gonna have to wait and see the ETF flows, see if they're really strong still and holding it up. And ETH could be just looking to grind a little bit lower to 4,000. I think that is very, very reasonable into my first buy box. But there's every reason to think this can go a little bit lower and grab some liquidity. But we have the back of our minds that when Bitcoin had its ETF flows and really started going, it never really gave investors the perfect entry. You go this zone, oh, that looks really great. In 2021 or earlier, that's where it would come back to. It'd be quite aggressive back into the support zone. It would go lower than you think. But when the ETFs are involved, the passive bid is really, really strong. And so when it does drop, the buyers come in quite heavy and it kind of evens things out and doesn't give in those really volatile moves. And if you do get a volatile move, they don't last there for long. All right, one to watch here. Now, there's a few I could throw into this bracket, including Sui. But I think Aave has just been a really strong performer over the journey. Well, at least since back here in April, it's had a lot of the DeFi lending sort of narrative behind it on the back of ETH. But it's doing something very similar to Sol. But the structure here is quite interesting. You got the downtrend line here. Then it's made a higher high out of the downtrend, so that's really important. But I wanted to see the flip of this level here, and it's not quite there, but it tried there, fake out. I suspect this is going to do a bit of a Solana and flip that level. Once you get that level flipped about 342, I think that's where you get really aggressive, and that's where we can really have those upside targets, the 1.618 at 600, 488. I mean, this has got a lot of energy to it. This can really begin to rip. So monitor Aave, I think it's a really good one to watch. And the downtrend line here, just to add a little bit more sauce on the sausage there, the breakout there, when these downtrends break, you tend to get a fake out. This one's had about 3, which is it's just been wiping longs and shorts left and right. But coming back down to just finally retest that as a support zone is really nice to see. And this does have the look about it that she's ready to go. Found support on top of the 50 as well. So if you're looking to buy this, I think back to the 50 here is maybe back to 300, I think is sensible. But if we get any kind of daily close in this region where we're flirting with this trend line, you got to be very, very careful.